She looks visibly distressed, eyes red, hair a little disheveled. She takes a shaky breath, tries to smile weakly, then fails. Her voice is soft, a little hoarse, barely above a whisper. Hi, everyone. This is probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Not just recording this, but living it. For a long time, I've carried this secret, and it's been eating me alive. I can't keep it anymore. I need to get it out. I need to confess. She pauses, swallows hard, tears welling up in her eyes. I cheated. I cheated on my husband. And it wasn't just some random person, some stranger I'd never see again. It was our neighbor. She covers her mouth with a trembling hand, then drops it, staring earnestly into the camera. My husband, Mark. He's a good man. A really good man. We've been together for 12 years, married for 8. He's kind, he's funny, he's reliable. He's my rock. Or he was my rock. I don't even know what to say to describe how much I've hurt him, how much I've betrayed everything we built. Our life on the surface was perfect. We had a beautiful home, good jobs, we laughed a lot. But somewhere along the line, without either of us really noticing, the spark started to dim. The easy intimacy, the excitement, it just faded. Life became routine. Comfortable, yes, but also a little beige. I started to feel invisible, not unattractive, just not seen in the way I used to be. Not desired with that fierce, consuming passion that once defined us. Then a new family moved in next door, the Millers, and with them came, well, him, Jake. From the moment I saw him, there was something. I can't even pinpoint it. He was handsome, yes, in a rugged, an easygoing kind of way, but it was more than that. It was the way he looked at me, not just hello neighbor, but with an intensity that made me feel noticed, like he saw past the comfortable wife, past the routine. Our initial interactions were so innocent. Just friendly waves over the fence, polite chats when we were both gardening. He'd offer to help Mark with a heavy box, or I'd take over a plate of cookies for their kids. Harmless. Completely harmless. But those conversations started to linger. He'd ask about my day, not just how are you, but genuinely listening to the answer. He'd remember little details I'd mentioned weeks ago. His eyes, a startling blue, would hold mine for a beat too long, and I'd feel this strange flutter in my chest, a sensation I hadn't felt in, I don't know how long. The thrill began with those stolen glances, the electric current that would run through me when our hands brushed accidentally while passing a garden tool. The way my heart would pound when I heard his laugh from next door, knowing he was just meters away. It was a secret I kept even from myself at first. I'd tell myself it was just harmless flirting, a boost to my ego. But deep down, I knew it was more. I was playing with fire and the heat was intoxicating. One afternoon, Mark was away on a business trip. Jake's wife, Sarah, was out of town visiting her sister. I was out in the garden, trying to distract myself, when he called over to me. He had a problem with his sprinkler system, and he knew I was good with tools. Mark always joked I was handier than him. So, I went over. My heart was already racing, a nervous energy buzzing under my skin. We were laughing as I tried to fix it, getting a little wet. The sun was warm, and everything felt amplified. His arm brushed mine as he reached for a wrench. And then he just looked at me, that intense blue gaze, and he leaned in. My mind screamed, "No!" But my body froze. It craved that moment, that attention, that forbidden closeness, and I leaned in too. The kiss was soft at first, then urgent, hungry. It was a jolt, a shock of pure, unadulterated sensation. It was everything I felt was missing. The world outside that kiss, outside his arms, just ceased to exist for a moment. It was pure, selfish, electrifying thrill. We ended up inside his house, then in his bedroom, and I betrayed everything. Every vow, every promise, every moment of love I'd ever shared with Mark. The moment it was over, the thrill evaporated, replaced by a cold, searing wave of shame. Guilt. It hit me like a physical blow. What had I done? What had I just destroyed? Lying there, next to him, I felt utterly disgusted with myself. I wanted to rewind time, to scream at myself to stop before that first glance, that first touch. I just wanted to disappear. I mumbled an excuse, pulled on my clothes with shaking hands, and practically ran back to my house. The silence of my own home was deafening. Every object felt like it was judging me. Every photo of Mark and me was a fresh stab of pain. I showered, scrubbing at my skin as if I could wash away the sin, the feeling of his touch. But it was useless. It was etched into my soul. For days, I couldn't look at Jake, couldn't look at Mark. I was a ghost in my own home, jumpy, irritable, crying in private. But then, the cravings started again. The forbidden fruit, the proximity. He'd send a text, innocuous at first, asking if I'd fixed my sprinkler, then quickly escalating to, thinking of you, or, can we talk? And against my better judgment, I'd answer. Because even though I hated myself for it, that rush, that illicit connection, was powerful. It made me feel alive in a way I hadn't felt in years. It happened again. And again. Each time, the thrill was there, but so was the guilt, sharper, more consuming. It was a vicious cycle. I'd be hyper-aware of Mark's schedule, Jake's wife's schedule, planning our stolen moments like a spy. My heart would hammer in my chest every time I heard a car door close, every time a shadow passed the window. I became an expert at lying, at feigning normalcy, at creating alibis in my head. But the constant tension was draining me. I couldn't sleep. I lost my appetite. I started snapping at Mark for no reason, then collapsing in tears later, hating myself even more for being cruel to the man I was already destroying. I saw the worry in Mark's eyes. He asked if I was okay, if anything was wrong. Each time, the lie choked me. I'd tell him I was stressed with work or just tired. He'd hold me, try to comfort me, and his touch, once something I craved, became a torment. I felt so dirty, so undeserving of his goodness, his trust. The breaking point came a few weeks ago. Mark had planned a surprise dinner, just for us, to reconnect, he said. He cooked my favorite meal, lit candles, put on our wedding song. He looked at me with so much love, so much hope, and all I could do was sit there, a knot of dread in my stomach, remembering a text Jake had sent that morning, a shared glance over the fence. I couldn't eat. I couldn't pretend. Halfway through the dinner, I started crying, uncontrollably. Mark held me, confused, worried, asking what was wrong. And in that moment, seeing his pain, his innocent concern, I knew I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't live with this lie. I was killing myself, and I was slowly, agonizingly killing him too. Fate. I haven't told him yet. Not completely. I've ended things with Jake. Brutally, finally. He didn't fight it. I think he knew it had to end. But ending it doesn't erase what I've done. It doesn't erase the lies. It doesn't erase the betrayal. I'm making this video because I need to practice the words. I need to find the courage to tell Mark everything, face to face. I know I might lose him. I deserve to lose him. But I also know I can't heal. I can't even begin to find my way back to myself until this secret is out. Until I take full responsibility for my actions. I don't expect forgiveness. Not from anyone, least of all from Mark. I need to be honest. I need to face the consequences. This isn't a plea for sympathy. It's just me, stripped bare, utterly ashamed, and profoundly sorry for everything. She looks down, then slowly back up at the camera, her eyes filled with pain but also a flicker of determination. Thank you for listening. The video fades to black.